Hello all, 'tis I, your friendly neighborhood Spidey-Wing, and today I'm doing something kind of different. I'm going to be talking about the entirety of the Power Rangers Mystic Force toy line. Basically, this is going to be different than what I normally do, but I do think a perspective on the toy line as a whole is a very important thing. Why? Because I consider the Mystic Force toy line to be one of Bandai of America's crowning achievement. It combines very accurate looking toys with just some general fun and some really neat things. However, as much as I love the toy line as a whole, there are some glaring missteps or flaws that I will be pointing out. Also, please note, this will cover only the toys that I have. Now, while I'll try and cover some of the stuff that I don't have, just from what I remember from reading reviews online and just looking at pictures and whatnot, I may not cover everything, so my apologies if I don't cover something you wish I would have talked about. So, what did we get started with? Well, the basic action figures. Starting off with the figures, they, in my opinion, are very well done, with some very accurate accessories, such as this, the Magi Staff for the Pink Ranger, or this, the Magi Staff bow gun for the Yellow Ranger. And they also came up with an interesting gimmick, a light-up shield, like this, for the Korag figures, which I'll talk about in a minute about them. But I like this because this was an interesting gimmick, and it provided a unified feature for the entire line by giving them light-up shields. However, there was one flaw, and it does involve this shield right here. It's these guys right here. The Korag figures were really short-packed. In fact, these two figures right here, these are repaints that I did myself of a repaint of the basic Korag figure that was all kind of white and gray and a bit of red, which to me made no sense. After all, if you wanted to do a good repaint of Korag, you could have just gone with, well, this guy. But I think when Bandai designed the figure, it wasn't known at the time that it was going to be good, and blah blah blah, things happen. You know, it's a flaw, and it's one I really wish they could have corrected. Unfortunately, Korag kind of gets shafted in the entirety of the toy line. But that's the spring line, as memory serves. Let's move on to the fall line. However, what is a really nice boon for the line this year, or that year, I'm sorry, we actually get a Hideak or Zobil. It's nice. I really like the way this came out. Plus, it has an interesting feature. You get a pop-up head. So that, I think, is actually pretty cool. It's a nice little bonus. And, you know, if you're an army builder, you could have gotten a bunch of these. I only got one because, hey, that's generally how I get stuff. I don't really need more than one. The battleized figures are also pretty nice. You kind of get something here that looks pretty decent. An interesting gimmick of a rotation thing there. And it's a little bit more generally posable than the regular figures, with a gauntlet swivel at the top and a bicep swivel just above the elbow. Overall, not that bad. It's just, it is what it is. It's the Battleizer. Alright? Yeah. Not really a whole lot more I can say about it. The Legend Mode figures are also very well done. They have generally the same posability. They do away with a rotation joint right here, which is disappointing. Okay, I won't lie. It would help a lot of poses with this. But, you know, hey, it's life, and I kind of wish that this hadn't been glow-in-the-dark either. It just really kind of looks silly in their hands, and I really wish it had been a solid gray piece, maybe with some harder plastic. But that's life. I mean, this is really a kind of a minor thing. What is cool, though, is that each figure has a swappable head. You just take it, you just take this, and you put it on. Sorry, mine's kind of stiff. And they can go helmetless. That's actually kind of cool. The heads overall are, in my opinion, decent likenesses of the actors, with the exception of Nick. But hey, what are you going to do? However, there is one big glaring misstep in the fall line for the regular figure. No Solaris Knight. I mean, this right here really bugs me. Sorry about the white balance. We get a Genji, or Smokey. This is nice. I kind of modified it to give him a longer robe, hey. But no Solaris Knight. This is a custom that I made. They don't even give you a really good 6th Ranger figure. That's just a big misstep on the part of Bandai of America. Okay, I mean, seriously, how do you not give the fans, or anyone, to buy a good 6th Ranger? It's just to me, that's a no-brainer. You give the 6th Ranger. You give the full team. However, that is only one flaw in the figures themselves. It's a small thing, and really, a lot of this stuff is just small, because, in my opinion, the quality of each of these figures far outweighs the individual minor issues. So, now that I've talked about the regular core figures for a bit, I'm going to get into the specialized figures. Like, I have a couple of Zord Morphine ones. I'm going to talk about them really quick. Okay, the Zord Morphine figures are also kind of nice. I mean, it was the only way to get a really good-looking Solaris Knight in the line, unfortunately, and even then it's kind of iffy. I don't like the fact that it's got that right there on the back. But if you're just looking for a decentish looking Solaris Knight, it's there. It's just really kind of out of scale with the regular figures. However, like I said, I still like it. It's got an interesting feature where you can actually transform it into the train. I'm not really going to bother with that for right now. And also, the Zord Morphine Red Ranger here transforms into his Titan form, which I think is a really cool idea and gimmick. It's done simply. You just kind of add these on, and you got him. But hey, I like a simple gimmick that is fun, and this is clearly really kind of designed for the kids, just to give them something fun to do, and just give them a figure that does more than just pose and whatnot. It gives them something to play with, so I can't really fault them for that. Okay, now I'm going to get into one of the unique specialized figures. I call them big scale figures. I don't really remember what the full name was, but I'm going to get into it. These right here are really neat. You get a nicely posable figure. Seriously, these things have double jointed arms, knees, a rotatable waist, a rotatable wrist, a bicep swivel, a head